Scientists watching narwhals hunt in the Canadian Arctic noticed something impossible. The whales weren't just catching fish, they were tossing them, flipping them with their tusks, playing with them like a cat with a mouse. Except this is a 2-ton Arctic predator, and the behavior serves no survival purpose whatsoever. This is the first documented evidence of play in narwhals. Published February 2025. Peer-reviewed, verified. Welcome to Wild Lead Tube, where animal intelligence, verified research, and evolutionary mysteries collide. And nothing is ever as simple as it looks. Let's set the stage. Summer 2022, Creswell Bay, Canadian High Arctic. A team from Florida Atlantic University and Fisheries and Oceans Canada deployed drones over narwhal feeding grounds. They were studying tusk use. What they captured was something no one had filmed before. 17 distinct behaviors, multiple individuals, hours of footage. This isn't speculation. This is documented behavior, published in one of the world's leading marine science journals. Every claim you're about to hear is backed by frame-by-frame analysis and peer review. The researchers themselves were shocked by what they saw. Here's why this matters. Play behavior in wild animals is rare. We've documented it in dolphins, in elephants, in primates. But play requires something most animals can't afford: time, energy, safety. In the harsh Arctic, where every calorie counts, where predators lurk, where ice can trap you, play should be impossible. Yet here are narwhals, apex predators, with 10-foot tusks, gently tapping fish they could easily kill. Not eating them, just interacting. But to understand why, we need to follow the evidence. The first behavioral sequence lasted nearly 5 minutes. One adult narwhal, with a long tusk, pursuing a single Arctic char. The whale got within centimeters of the fish 12 times, close enough to eat, close enough to kill with one strike. Instead, it tapped the fish gently with the tip of its tusk. Brief contacts, no force. Some were slow pushes, others were gentle rotations that flipped the fish on its side. The fish would recover, swim away, and the narwhal would follow, patiently, precisely, tracking every movement. Then something fascinating happened. A second narwhal joined, smaller, younger. It stayed close to the first whale, watching, but when it had the opportunity to get close to the fish, it hesitated, held back, never made contact. The adult, by contrast, moved aside at one point, creating space, as if inviting the younger whale to try. The younger whale approached within a meter of the fish, then stopped, uncertain. The adult resumed its position and continued the gentle investigation. This wasn't just play. This might have been teaching. Look at this from the fish's perspective. Arctic char are fast, agile, capable of rapid escape maneuvers. This fish proved it at the end, when it executed a tight 180 turn and vanished. But for nearly 5 minutes, it didn't swim at full speed. 3 times, it slowed to almost stationary. It changed direction, yes, but it never fled with the intensity it was clearly capable of. The researchers noted something striking. When the fish did react demonstratively to a tusk tap, the narwhal recoiled, as if surprised, as if this was a novel encounter for both species. The research team identified 17 distinct behaviors: hitting with the tusk tip, hitting with the tusk shaft, pushing, guiding, rotating, tracking, scanning, blocking other whales from accessing the fish, close association with other narwhals. Each behavior was coded, timed, analyzed, frame by frame. They slowed the footage to 0.3 times speed, They zoomed in. This level of documentation had never been achieved with wild narwhals before. Drones changed everything. For the first time, scientists could watch narwhal behavior without disturbing them, from 60 to 100 feet above the surface, continuously, for hours. But here's the pattern that makes this significant. Play has been documented across mammal species. Dolphins toss fish before eating them. Orcas play with seals. River otters slide down banks for no reason except apparent enjoyment. Even rats engage in play behavior that resembles laughter. Sound familiar? It should, because play isn't frivolous. It's how intelligent species develop skills, build social bonds, and adapt to new situations. Marine biologists studying cetacean cognition have long suspected narwhals possessed complex social behaviors. They've documented intricate communication, long-term pair bonds, coordinated hunting. Meanwhile, popular understanding of narwhals remained stuck on medieval unicorn myths. We thought the tusk was purely for fighting or mating displays. Today, science proves the cognitive sophistication was there all along. We just weren't looking closely enough. 2 days later, the researchers captured a completely different behavioral sequence. 3 young adult narwhals, multiple fish, and a new player, glaucous gulls, the Arctic's opportunistic thieves. This time, the narwhals were actively foraging. They spent significantly more time searching. Their tusk strikes were forceful, rapid, multiple blows in succession designed to stun. One narwhal hit a fish 5 times in under 3 seconds. The fish was knocked sideways, momentarily stunned, but it escaped. The difference between the 2 observations was stark. In the first sequence, gentle investigation, no consumption. In the second, aggressive hunting, successful kills, same species, same location, completely different behavioral intent. And then there were the gulls, glaucous gulls, large, aggressive seabirds that survive through theft. The researchers documented something rarely seen: interspecific kleptoparasitism of a marine mammal. The gulls were watching the narwhals, tracking their hunting behavior. When a narwhal closed in on a fish, the gulls dove 5 times. A gull stole fish from narwhals, or caused the fish to escape before the whale could strike. The gulls appeared to have learned that narwhals hunting near the surface meant easy prey. This created a cost to surface hunting. Every time a narwhal pursued char in the photic zone, it risked losing its catch to aerial predators. But the most significant element wasn't the hunting or the gulls, it was the social learning. In the second observation, researchers watched narwhals, tracking what other narwhals were doing. One whale pursued a fish. A second whale observed, then joined in, copying the technique, adjusting based on what it had seen. Young narwhals stayed close to adults, watching, learning. The researchers note this explicitly in their published study. Aspects of narwhal behavior may include social learning and possibly instruction. What we're witnessing might be cultural transmission, behavioral knowledge passed from experienced adults to juveniles, not through genetics, through observation and practice. Here's how the researchers distinguished play from foraging. 5 criteria. First, lack of obvious functionality. The behavior doesn't serve immediate survival needs. Second, spontaneous and apparently voluntary. Third, exaggerated movements. Fourth, repeated actions. Fifth, occurring in the absence of stress. The gentle interaction in observation 1 met all 5 criteria. The aggressive hunting in observation 2 met none. Same animals, same prey species, different behavioral intent. The mechanism is cognitive. The narwhals were making choices about how to interact with prey, and those choices weren't always about survival. Cetacean researchers have documented play in captive environments for decades. Dolphins in aquariums, belugas in research facilities. Controlled conditions where safety and food are guaranteed. But documenting play in the wild, in one of Earth's harshest environments, that's exponentially more difficult and more significant. These narwhals weren't protected by trainers. They were expending energy on non-survival behavior in an environment where calories are precious. That's not just play. That's cognitive flexibility most people assumed Arctic predators didn't possess. So why would this evolve? Play behavior is costly. It requires time animals could spend foraging, energy they could conserve, attention they should direct toward predator detection. Yet play persists across intelligent species. The current hypothesis: play develops behavioral flexibility. Young narwhals practicing with fish aren't wasting time. They're learning precision, developing motor control, building neural pathways between tusk sensation and hunting behavior. The tusk contains 10 million nerve endings. It's one of the most sensitive organs in the animal kingdom. Using it effectively requires practice. And practice in a low-stakes context with fish they don't need to eat might be exactly how young narwhals develop the skills they'll need when hunting actually matters. There's another layer to this. Arctic char aren't a major narwhal prey species. Narwhals typically feed on deep-sea animals, Greenland halibut, squid. Organisms found at depths exceeding 1,500 meters. Char are surface fish, fast, agile, and according to preliminary diet studies, rarely consumed by this narwhal population. So what were the narwhals doing? The researchers suggest this might be exploratory behavior of a novel prey species. The Arctic is changing. Ice patterns shift. Prey distributions change. Narwhals encountering char near the surface might have been investigating whether this new potential food source was worth pursuing. And the gentle, playful interaction in observation one might reflect genuine curiosity about an unfamiliar animal. What makes this discovery critical today is that the Arctic is changing faster than any ecosystem on Earth. Sea ice is retreating. Prey distributions are shifting. Species that never overlapped are now encountering each other. Behavioral flexibility, the ability to investigate novel situations, learn new foraging strategies, adapt to changing conditions. That's not optional anymore. That's survival. And play might be how narwhals develop that flexibility. Climate scientists project Arctic sea ice could disappear entirely in summer months within decades. Conservation biologists are racing to understand how Arctic species will adapt. Meanwhile, most people still think of narwhals as mythical unicorns, static, unchanged since medieval legends. The science reveals something completely different. These are cognitively sophisticated animals actively developing behavioral strategies for a changing world. Whether they can adapt fast enough is the question that matters. This research raises uncomfortable questions about how we study animal cognition. How many other species engage in play behavior we've never documented because we weren't looking in the right places at the right times with the right technology? Drones gave us access to narwhal behavior that would have been impossible to observe from boats or planes. The whales were undisturbed, natural, engaging in behaviors they'd never display if humans were close. What are we missing about species we can't observe this way? Deep-sea animals, nocturnal predators, creatures in remote environments. Every new technology reveals behaviors we had no idea existed. But here's what the researchers can't explain. Why that specific fish? In observation 1, there were other char in the area. The narwhals could have switched targets, yet they pursued this single individual for nearly 5 minutes, never tried to eat it, never used force that could harm it. When the fish bumped the adult narwhal's rostrum, the whale didn't bite, didn't react aggressively, just continued the gentle investigation. That fish escaped unharmed. Was it practice, entertainment, curiosity? The published study uses careful scientific language, exploratory object play, likely play, aspects consistent with play. They won't say definitively, because consciousness is impossible to prove. But every behavior they documented points to the same conclusion. Those narwhals were playing, and we don't know why. So what should you take from this discovery? First, recognize that intelligence doesn't look like human intelligence. We assumed narwhal tusks were weapons, mating displays, sexual ornaments. Science proves they're also sensory organs, teaching tools, instruments for gentle exploration. The tusk's complexity matches its uses, multiple functions, multiple contexts, cognitive flexibility we completely missed. Second, understand that play isn't frivolous. It's how intelligent species develop skills and adapt to change. Young narwhals, learning to manipulate fish with precision today, are building the neural pathways they'll need to hunt effectively tomorrow. Play is practice. Practice is survival, especially in changing environments where old strategies stop working. Third, accept that drone technology has revolutionized what we can observe. This research was only possible because of drones. Before this, narwhal behavior studies relied on brief surface observations from boats, acoustic monitoring, stomach content analysis, all valuable, but none showed us what narwhals actually do when left undisturbed. Technology didn't just improve our observations, it revealed behaviors we had no idea existed. Play isn't the opposite of survival. Play is how intelligent species prepare for survival scenarios they haven't encountered yet. We humans play throughout our lives. Sports, games, hobbies, we call them recreation, but they're also practice, developing skills, building social bonds, exploring without consequence. We don't question whether play is valuable for humans. Why do we question it for narwhals? The evidence suggests their play serves the same functions ours does. Skill development, social learning, cognitive flexibility. The main difference is context. Narwhals play in one of Earth's harshest environments. That should make their play more remarkable, not less believable. And if you think narwhals playing with fish is remarkable, wait until you see what scientists just discovered about horses reading human facial expressions with the same brain processing humans use. That video is ready now. We called narwhals the unicorns of the sea and assumed the mystery ended there. But science proves the real mystery is their minds. Complex, flexible, playful, capable of behaviors we're only beginning to document. If this changed how you see the Arctic's most enigmatic predator, subscribe. Wild Lead 2 brings you verified animal science, real research, real wonder, real discoveries that prove animals are smarter, stranger, and more like us than we ever imagined. They've been playing all along. We finally learned to watch.